Hello and welcome to the Market Review, where we bring you key developments in the financial and capital market as it affects the economy. Today we're looking at Insurtech Adoption and the growth of Nigeria's insurance industry. And my guest is Mr. Ekerete Ola Gam-Ikon, an insurance expert and management consultant. I call him Nigeria's insurance advocate. It's nice to have you on the program for the first time in this year, Mr. Ekerete.
Thank you so much, Ottoabasi. It's nice to be here. And I should be saying Happy New Year to you.
Yes, thank you very much. And to our viewers, before we begin the conversation, let us just take a recap of some few market stories from last week. Dangote Cement PLC announced the successful completion of its 116 billion naira Series 2 bond issuance, which is the largest corporate bond issuance in the history of the Nigerian capital markets. Also last week, Access Holdings PLC announced that its banking subsidiary, Access Bank PLC, has successfully priced a $50 million Reg S step-up green notes due 2027 in the international capital market via a private placement. Those are some of the stories that came up last week. When we return, we'll continue this conversation. Let's take a breather.
Tune in to Web TV Daily to stay up to date and informed on the financial market, personal finance, and more. We have got you covered with all your favorite TV shows, economy and politics, market review, women's series, millennial talk, Islamic Finance Weekly, The Brief, exclusive interviews, events, and we keep you up to date on all the updates in the financial market with the market opening gong. Watch premium content. Watch Web TV. Same news, different perspective.
Welcome back, and if you're joining us, it's the Market Review, and our focus today is on Insurtech adoption and the growth of Nigeria's insurance industry, an industry that has so much prospects to deepen Nigeria's economy and also deepen financial inclusion. My guest is Mr. Ekerete Ola Gam-Ikon, insurance expert and management consultant. And so, Mr. Ekerete, let's get on to the conversation. We've seen the recapitalization exercise, which is driven by the National Insurance Commission in the Nigerian insurance industry. From your perspective, has this process positioned insurance companies in terms of effective capitalization? And also, are we likely to see mergers and acquisitions as a result of the demands on the recapitalization?
Okay, thanks so much, Mr. Ottoabasi. I do think that the issue of recapitalization has been, I would say, where it is because serious companies do understand why they have to recapitalize if they have to do big ticket businesses. So they are no longer waiting for the regulator to guide them on recapitalization. And I think we have seen a number of companies coming out to announce, capital that is much higher than what the regulator required. And so it calls for customers that are also looking for serious-minded companies to look in that direction. But like I've always said, recapitalization is not the only issue that affects insurance industry in Nigeria. So when you look at it, today we are talking about insurance technology, Insurtech, and this has a lot to do with recapitalization in terms of building the infrastructure and all of that. Technology is not cheap. However, again, it will seem like the insurance companies are waiting for someone to guide them through that path. And the regulator has played a role there where it's come out with the guidelines on web aggregators. So there's a lot going on, but the investment that is required in that sector, we haven't quite seen yet, which means we are still playing at the peripheral level when we should dive in and take full advantage of this, because Insurtech, to my mind, and I think I've said this before, is going to save the insurance industry in Nigeria.
Okay, Mr. Ekerete, in just 30 seconds, if you talk about the measures and acquisitions, you said you've not seen that investment, those big investments or recapitalization that really shows that we are dealing in the big level, not periphery. So Does this therefore mean that we'll likely see M&As happening?
With M&As, my take has always been, and what am I looking for in another insurance company? That's the big question. What does that insurance, M&As don't just happen. They are best practices. You have value that I don't have. I've seen it. And then you've got some qualities that I don't have. So we come into that discussion and then we have an agreement. But with insurance in Nigeria, everybody is doing everything. And so you're not likely to see someone having that conversation based on the kind of qualities that we have M&As. So, and regulator has tried in the past to force M&As, even when the last moment of meeting the deadline, companies have preferred to die than be merged with other companies. There are some companies that have gone to hand over themselves to other companies just to survive. So we don't have those M&As as they should be. However, if we look at it critically, going forward, there would be reasons for M&As into the future. Because I tell you, as we speak, there are opportunities that the insurance sector in Nigeria is struggling to understand. And I say struggling to understand because usually we will have to develop knowledge and there's some understanding about certain things. Cyber insurance is one of them. Climate insurance is one of them. So if an organization sees one organization that is probably doing very well in agricultural insurance, the tendency is that if I'm going to do climate insurance, I might want to, speak with that company and see how I bring them into what I'm doing. So these are the things that might likely happen into the future. But as we speak, without apologies, you will see that a lot of insurance companies are being run just like a one-man show. And so recently, the regulator said there is a dearth of CEOs in the industry. And so if that is the situation, it means that if the CEO is out, the next guy is not capable of handling that assignment. And so it's a tendency, for the company to either go under or struggle through this process. And that again speaks to the issue of M&As. So what are you coming with?
Yeah. Okay, very nice to take note of. But Mr. Ekerete, what's your take around the issues of share capital and investment income for the insurance industry in the country? Are we seeing more value created and yields, particularly when it comes to the investment income?
The issue of share capital, as we speak, and when you try to relate it to investment income and all of that. First of all, my thinking is that the investment policy, as spelled out by the regulator, ought to be rejigged. We have to look at it again and try and bring it up to scale with what's happening in the investment ecosystem. Because when you say, for example, that insurance companies should invest in treasury bills, we've seen how treasury bills have gone in the last couple of years. And so the kind of percentages in terms of how insurance companies can use their investments needs to be looked at again, of their investments in real estate, for example. That's fine. However, is that still realistic? Should it be lower? Should it be higher? Those are the considerations. So I think that's where we should start from and have a discussion, where we can indeed see how we bring some changes into the investment policy that is guiding insurance companies from the regulatory angle. Secondly, we've got the Insurtechs coming up now, and they're coming up with opportunities for investment by insurance companies. Should insurance companies invest in Insurtech startups? My answer is yes, but how should they go about it? There ought to be some, regulatory direction in terms of that also, so that you hear Insurtechs being able to access $100 million and things like that. So sometimes it's great to think that an insurance company could have been part of that. So that in talking about recapitalization and your share capital and all of that, you can really understand where things are. Now, one of the things that has happened also is that share capital has been clearly, defined by the Finance Act of 2022. So, having done that, it shows that an insurance company does not need any other thing but, and that's where this kind of investments come into play. And I do know that some insurance companies are still struggling to recover from the shock that we all had 2 years ago regarding investment income and all of that. So a lot of work has got to be done from the regulatory level and from, setting direction for what should happen. That's what I think.
Okay, Mr. Ekerete, in 2 minutes, can you tell us how the Insurtech adoption, the roadmap now between NAICOM and FinTech Nigeria, setting this roadmap, can improve issues like claim settlement and even technology adoption for the insurance industry, and even the new products you've always been talking about, that we need to see new products to deepen insurance penetration?
Yeah, Insurtech or Insurtech startups, Insurtechs, they've come to my mind, they've come to help the insurance industry. And I'm happy that a number of insurance companies have welcomed them and are actually using their solutions to drive their businesses. Specifically talking about how they will help with insurance adoption. You and I know that the greatest problem with insurance industry in Nigeria is claims. Not everybody will agree. However, once we are able to solve the claims problem, we have solved 70% of the problem, especially when it comes to getting individuals to buy insurance. What we see a lot now are apps that show people how to buy insurance, but we are not there yet when it comes to how to settle claims, because we are not at that point. But we have to be ready as a market so that when it comes to claims, there won't be stories. Individuals have had enough stories and they are still struggling with their stories today when it comes to claims. And it will be double jeopardy, if I may put it that way, for the insurance industry to come up with an Insurtech solution that does not deliver on claims. And here is what happens when you talk about claims. Claims is actually it actually starts from the point where the policy holder is buying, or the customer is buying the policy. Because I tell you what is going on. Ottoabasi, if you want to insure your car now, you call an insurance company and the marketing executive will ask you for the value of the car. You give the value of the car and he will tell you the premium, and the next thing you will agree to send the premium. He sends account details and you send the premium. Now, no information about you at that point. Nothing about where you are, nothing about who you are at that point. It's not been documented. But money has been paid. So once money has been paid, you have insurance covered. That's what the law says. Now, the danger in not having enough information about you, but collecting your money, is that if you're a fraudulent person, you are ready to take the insurance company on that journey and commit that fraud in the next couple of months. But right after collecting your premium, they start doing documentation. They now send you the know your customer form to complete. They now want to know more about you. But what then happens is that when you make a claim in subsequent months, that is when the insurance company wants to know whether you are doing the business that you said you are doing, whether you are living in the place you said you are living. So there's a lot that needs to happen as we develop these Insurtech solutions. We need to understand that, there are principles that guide insurance business. So if those principles are not captured as we develop these solutions, then it means that the foundation is not well set and a lot of issues come up. I just give you an example of how claims can be messed up, So these are the things that should happen, in using the Insurtech solution to our advantage. We should be able to build in a lot of what it is. I mean, insurance in the past used to be that 10% of the value of the car is what it is, and we'll say we are giving you 20% discount. after 2 years of driving the car without any claims. But these days, what you hear is, we'll give you 2.5% of the value of the car, or we'll give you 3% of the value of the car. And in the last 10 years, it's been like that. So there are some people who have been in the industry for 10 years and do not understand that this 3%, 2% came from somewhere. And so if that somewhere it came from is not recognized in the solution that we are developing, then it means that that solution is faulty from the beginning. So that's the point I'm trying to make with this. The advantage we can enjoy, to use Insurtech to increase insurance penetration and all of that, is just making it as easy and convenient as possible for people. Because don't forget, it comes back to being able to use my phone to buy insurance, being able to use my phone to do the transaction and conclude. So it's not so much about what product you have put there. It's so much about how easy is it for me to conclude that transaction, and then how easy is it for me to get responses to my questions and all of that. We still hear people say insurance companies, you see them only once in a year when the premium is about to be paid or renewed, So a lot has to go into what we are using Insurtech for. Communication is still a big issue, and so Insurtech solutions are available to ease communication. And why I said earlier that some insurance companies I'm happy are even taking advantage of it already is that an insurance company, for example, has come out to announce that will pay your claims in 6 minutes in Nigeria. Yes, it may not match what we hear Lemonade say they will do in the US, but that's the first time an insurance company in Nigeria will come out and say that. And so that provides an opportunity for someone else to do the same thing and come out and say, we'll do it in 3 minutes, and customers will begin to enjoy improvement in their relationship with insurance companies. Yeah. So it's great to have Insurtech, but more than that, it's important for the insurance companies to invest in these opportunities and really get some good traction and see it happen. Like I said earlier, we are still playing at the periphery because we have heard the message, but we think we should take it easy. We shouldn't dive in. We should watch carefully so that we'll not lose money. It's interesting. I mean, risk bearers are not risk takers in this circumstance, But we need to see that happen. And because we have companies in other countries that are entirely online insurance companies, entirely online, we should begin to think that it is possible in Nigeria. However, I do also understand that the incumbents, the traditional insurance companies, have legacy issues. Yeah. Some of them just cannot change their technology infrastructure to accommodate what we are talking about today. So that's where the challenge is also.
Well, I think what you shared is very instructive, that if we are going to see convenience, efficiency, and dynamism that will lead to a very viable insurance industry, then insurance companies should embrace this opportunity and invest more in Insurtech, because it will help in terms of improving issues like claim settlement and other developments that will move the industry forward. But this is just the beginning. We'll continue to have this conversation around the adoption of Insurtech and other developments in the insurance industry in the course of the year. So Mr. Ekerete Ola Gam-Ikon, is just the beginning. We'll still get you on board to discuss more. But thank you very much, Mr. Ekerete Ola Gam-Ikon, insurance expert and management consultant, for giving us a preview of how Insurtech adoption can catalyze growth for Nigeria's insurance industry, and things we need to know also around the recapitalization and the need for this industry to really thrive and become big as it is in developed economies. Like someone said, insurance companies in developed economies even own banks. So why can't that happen in Nigeria? But we'll talk about that in subsequent editions. Thank you very much once again, Secretary.
Thank you so much, Ottoabasi. It's always nice speaking with you.
Thank you. And that will be all for this edition of the Market Review. If you have questions, comments, or suggestions on Insurtech adoption and the growth of Nigeria's insurance industry, please send them to Ottoabasi.Abasiekong@proshare.co, and we'll be glad to discuss with you. Follow our website, www.proshare.co, to get all the latest articles, stories, and reports on the financial market, especially what's happening in the insurance industry. We have them captured for you. Just search insurance and you'll get all those articles. You can engage us on our social media platforms displayed on the screen. And don't forget that you need to be informed to make the right investment decisions. Thank you for watching, and keep discussing the financial and capital markets because they create wealth and economic opportunities.